Okay, so I'm going to open up a empty directory and I'm just going to call it account setup. And in here, I'm going to init a new project and I'm going to init an entire application. So I don't want to do a library, I want to do an app. And then my language, I want to do it in Python because that's where I'm happiest. And then let's jump into the VM. And then let's install, and let's install requirements dev as well. We'll write some tests for this one. So in my account setup, I want to get rid of, let's keep duration in there. I'm not going to do any SQS queues for this one, so that can go and that can go. So what I want to do is create a GitHub provider. And then I'm going to call it GitHub provider. And that's going to be an OpenID Connect provider. So it's OpenID Connect provider. I'm going to pass it itself. It's the GitHub provider. And the URL. So you can only have one of these. The uniqueness for each of the providers, the OICP providers, is the URL. So if I say URL and then I use the GitHub, so it's token actions GitHub usercontent.com, and then the client IDs is STS Amazon AWS.com. Cracking. And then let's dump out, if I get CFN output, I want to then CFN output, let's pass in self, and then GitHub provider on, and then the value of this output will be the GitHub provider OpenID Connect. OpenID Connect provider on. Okay, nice. So that should go off and create my provider. But what I want to do is let's pop into the unit tests and let's test this account setup. So we're not testing. It's not doing any SQS. So account setup. I can get rid of that, and then let's get rid of that. And then let's test this template that's coming in here. So I want to test OpenID Connect provider is created. So let's test that actually created. So does the template has resource properties? AWS. I know it creates a CDK OpenID Connect provider. And then the URL is going to be the URL that we pass to it. So then let's see if we can run that test. Let's just run PyTest and see what happens. Okay, that failed, no type custom. Let's try that. Let's try doing the correct spelling. Okay, nice. Right, so it's created what I expected there. I want to do one little test again. I want to make sure that the OIDC role is created. Let's do another test. And then let's fire up all this stuff. I'm just going to copy and paste that. Put that into there. And then this is going to create an IAM role. So AWS IAM role. And then in here, it's going to have the assume role policy document. So let's give that another test. Make sure I've got all my typos sorted. Okay, cool. Right. So that's building as I expect it to. Let's deploy it. Okay, brilliant. Now I've got the provider set up inside my account. What I'm going to do is, let's go back to our serverless Laravel. So what I want to do is, let's get out the CDK folder. In here, I want to, let's commit initial commit. Okay, let's go to GitHub and let's create a new repository. It's going to be Laravel serverless. Keep it public. Let's create this repository. Should have called it refactored octospoon. Okay, that's pushed up. So I want to use GitHub Actions to deploy this, but I'm going to need to allow or use that GitHub OIDC provider. So let's do this. Let's create a new file and call that GitHub connection. And then in this GitHub connection, let's from AWS CDK import, and I'm definitely going to need AWS as I am. I also want CFN output probably. Let's not guess too much at this for now. And then from constructs, construct. Okay, and then it's a class. It's GitHub connection, and it's a construct. And then let's init this up. And what I pass into here is the scope, which is construct. The construct ID, which is going to be a string. And then I want to pass the GitHub org, which again will be a string, and the GitHub repo, which again is going to be a string, and then let's pass the keyword arguments through. Okay, and then I pass the parent gets the scope, the construct ID, and the keyword arguments. Okay, nice. So the OIDC is, let's format this string a little bit, and that's going to be AWS IAM, and then it's the app account OIDC provider with token actions GitHub user content.com. So then I can get that provider from that arm. So I'm going to say, this is the provider that we've just created. This is the provider we've just created. OpenID connect provider, and this is from OpenID connect provider. And it's the OIDC on there. Let's call that OIDC on. A bit more clarity on what's going on there. Okay, so I am OpenID connect principal, and I pass the provider to that with conditions, and then the conditions are going to look a little bit like this. And this is where the repo comes into play. And then we're just going to say any branch for now. Let's just go for it. And then with that principle, let's add in a policy to it. We're going to say assume role with web identity. Resources, any, and then let's create a role. That's going to be the deployment role. Assumed by the principal. Role name. It's going to be and then let's give the max session duration, so how long we want this to last for. Oh, session duration equals, that's going to be a duration, which I don't think I've pulled in. Duration seconds, give it an hour. And then let's add some inline policies to this. Let's bring in duration here. Duration derulo. Okay, inline policies there. And then that's going to be deployment policy. I am deploying policy document. Policy statement, and that the statement looks like effect sts assume role resources. So I want it to be able to deploy for me. So it's going to use the CDK roles. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot. Let's bring it up. Resources, and then I want to allow, so this effect. Why I've got that? No, look at this. That's actions. And then the effect would be something like, I am effect. Allow that. Okay, so that's the statement. What don't you like? Inline policies. Why are you complaining at me? Is it because of that? Boom. Okay. And then I want to output this role. I know what this role is going to look like because I've set the name, but why not, eh? Let's say CFN output. And it's the deployment role on. And then the value of that is going to look something like this. It'll be AWS on. I could just do I want to? I could just output the on role. Why don't I get that role? Okay, let's build it. Let's build it. It's easier. AWS. I am. And then it's account. And it'll be role. And then it's the name that I've put here, which is this. So I'm just going to grab that. Okay. Nice. Should we add some tests? So let's have a quick think about what this is going to be. From AWS CDK, let's import stack and assertions. That's all we need. And then from CDK.GitHub connection, I want to import the class. And then I build the stack. So if we test GitHub connection construct, and then let's set the org to test and the repo to repo. Might be confusing. Let's fire up a stack, and then let's GitHub connection, pass that stack into this, call it GitHub org is the org, GitHub repo is the repo, and then we can get the template from the stack. And then we can do some assertions. Assertions! Let's assert some stuff. What are we asserting? Has resource properties. So I want to know that it's got the IAM role and it's got the IAM role name that I want to see. So it has resource properties. AWS IAM role. And the properties are a role name. Oh, did I copy and paste that? Oh, I did, didn't I? Org and repo. So it's just called org and repo. Right, let's pop into, where am I? I want to go to the CDK folder, and then I want to fire up the virtual env, and then I want to run PyTest. I don't know what's in this other test. Is there anything? No, nada. Slow, huh? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Now let's do something a bit juicier. Let's go out here. Let's make a directory for GitHub. Is it P if I wanted to make multiple? GitHub and then workflows. Okay, cool. Right, I want to go back into CDK and I want to CDK deploy that. Profile DevOps. While that's going off and deploying and creating my role, I'm going to create a GitHub action workflow. I'm just going to call it ci.yaml for now, and I'm not going to run any tests or anything. I'm just going to see it deploy because that's all I want to see. So on push for branch main, I want you to deploy. Nice and easy. So runs on Ubuntu latest. It's better to pin this down, but let's just get it running first and then we can improve it. Let's set some permissions. ID token, write, contents, read. Then I want to declare some steps. So let's clone the repository, clone the repo. So let's clone the repo out. And then let's assume the role. Assume role using OIDC. And that would be, I think it's AWS Actions, configure AWS credentials. Use the master branch for that. And then role to assume is the role that I've passed I've just tested it, so it's the, no, where is it? Is it in the GitHub connection itself? This role here, so this, which, I won't be able to do that. I've not passed that as a secret in GitHub, but I don't care for right now. Let's just try on AWS. I think 982.1.954.957 role, and then it is Laravel serverless deploy and AWS region EU West 2 Lambda, and then let's do a deploy. So name CDK deploy, and is UYO AWS CDK GitHub action. It's version 2. That's going back there, and then let's pass. I need to pass a working directory, working dir with this, which is the CDK directory. I'm going to pass the subcommand CDK subcommand is deploy. CDK stack, I've only got one in here, so I'm not going to do anything with that. I want the, I'm going to pass some args to it because I don't want to have to approve it. I just want it to go up. Okay, so that should do it. So this should assume the role that we've just created here. And it should, there's my outputs. Oh, hang about. So I've created the GitHub connection, but it's not done anything because I've not brought it into this, the CDK stack. So let's do that from and then here, GitHub connection, GitHub deployment role. The repo is called Laravel. The organization is good luck everybody, and the repo is Laravel serverless. So I haven't actually created this role, so let's go and create it now. Okay, that's created. I've got my YAML file that's using the role that we've created. Let's go back. Let's add, oh, nice. Let's add CI YAML added, and then let's push this up. Okay, so the CDK that I initted inside the repo was brought in as a submodule. So I've removed this submodule and just brought it into this, into the repo completely. So it should work now. As you can see, I've got quite a few different runs within my actions. It's assumed the role that I needed it to assume. It's installed in CDK. It's found the requirements.txt, and it should go ahead and deploy. Okay, that's deployed. Let's click on the URL to make sure it's up and running. Not what I wanted to see. Let's have a look at the migrate endpoint. Well, that's bitterly disappointing, but it did deploy from GitHub Actions. So that's a win for that part. I'm going to have to delve in deeper and find out what's going on here. Should be something in the logs that we can see, but nice.